Dear participant, today we are in the 8th day of this countrywide classroom teaching program 2022, and today we have a deliberation on a special topic which is relevant for the BSCTY aquaculture paper, fishery science, and the topic for discussion is cultural method, sewage feed, fish culture, and man-made hazards and aquacultures. And resource person to deliver this lecture is Dr. Jayvardhan Balkhande. He is assistant professor in the home institution Dr. Digambara Bindu Arts, Commerce and Science College, Bhokar, which is affiliated to the SRTM University. Dr. Balkhande sir, the session is over to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, Mike.
Balkhande sir, if possible, please on your video.
Okay.
Yeah, it is essential for the content.
Yes, sir. Okay. Sir, screen this thing?
Yes, sir. This is
okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Dear friends, warmly welcome from my department and our IQC department. Today is the eighth day of this countrywide classroom program, and I am really happy to here to share my views, or I take one lecture about the culture method, sewage feed fish culture, and man-made hazardous and aquaculture, which is the part of paper number 15A, aquaculture, for the BSCTY zoology students. We have already discussed the first unit in last lecture, and today we are going to start, or we are going to deliberate the unit number 2, that is culture methods, sewage fed fish culture, and man-made hazardous and aquaculture. So this is the contents for the unit number 2, that is the culture methods. In that particular culture methods, we are going to discuss the pen culture and cage culture. And the second point of this unit is the sewage feed fish culture. In that, we have to discuss the composition of sewage, the use of sewage for fish culture, then the fish species suitable for sewage feed fish culture. These 3 points we are going to discuss in the sewage fed fish culture point. And last part, on the last point in this unit, is the man-made hazardous and aquaculture. Particular in this unit, we are going to discuss the domestic sewage, what is domestic sewage, then agricultural sewage, and third part, that is the industrial effluent. These are the contents of the unit number 2. Okay, so we'll discuss one by one. So first we will discuss the culture methods. So as far as the aquaculture is concerned, when we think about the aquaculture, so 2 techniques, they are very important in the aquaculture practice, because no doubt we know the captive fisheries is declining day by day, and for the alternate source, we can say the alternate source for this captive fishery is the again the aquaculture, and the 2 methods, they are very important, the pen culture and the cage culture. So we'll discuss the first pen culture. So his pen is nothing but they are the enclosures, a blocking device which act as a barrier, preventing the preventing the entry of desirable animals and fishes, ensuring the safety of the cultured stock. So the pen, it is nothing but a blocking device and it acts as a barrier for the preventing the entry of undesirable animals, for example, the crabs or other lobsters or other undesirable animals. So, and again, some fishes also, they are not means, for example, the predatory fish or the weed fishes, they are not useful, or they are feed upon the culturable fishes. So this is uh, the enclosure is there, they require for the particular entry of the fishes. Okay, so the system ensure higher survival rate and better yield. So pen culture, what it gives the higher survival rate as compared to other culture system, and by the higher survival rate, the it again it gives a very good amount of yield is also. Okay, so the farming system, it can be operated in the marginal areas of the large water bodies, and could be the considered as an eco-friendly type. So see, this is the very important in this culture method, that this pain culture is an act as an eco-friendly. It's an act as an eco-friendly because it does not interfere with other activities or pollute the environment. Means whatever the activity is performing in the in a pond or in a water body. So because of this pain culture, there is no we can say there is no interference, and again because of this activity there is no environmental pollution is there. So this is a very important eco-friendly type of culture. Okay, so these paints, they are constructed. See, this is the eco-friendly because the whatever the material is used for this paint culture, they are eco-friendly. Okay, so the paints, they are constructed by spilled bamboo. No doubt the bamboo is very important as far as this paint culture is concerned. So the bamboo and the these bamboos are, they are interlacing them with the either can strips, then the coconut or nylon twins, and the bamboo screens. Thus, they are constructed are erected in an ideal site where ingress and egress of water is not extreme. So, over the framework of bamboo poles, where pane screens are strongly fixed, and the screens, except the shore side, cordon the entire area under the pane operation. I will show one image where you can easily understand what is pane and how it can be constructed. Okay, in the next slides we will see the image. So the what about the pen culture? So recent results in the use of cages, pens, or the enclosures and recirculating water systems suggest some ways of the compact intensification of production in aquaculture given the accessory inputs. So this practice may provide great possibilities in the future in certain selected and suitable areas. Okay. So discuss the when we when we think or when we thought about the paint culture, so most important activity or most important criteria for the paint culture is the site selection, which in which site we have to prepare, we have to construct the paint. So the site selection is very important. So this first is very important, that is the low tidal amplitude. We have to select the site as low tidal amplitude. There is no high tide requirement for this culture system. So low tidal amplitude is very important, and this fish pen site must be sheltered as much as possible against high winds. So remember one thing, when we construct any pen, we have to select the site where the shelter is there. Okay, means it require a shelter, and because see the high wind is affected to this pen, so you have to select the particular site for the pen. Okay, so then next is the depth. So depth, it is not less than 1 meter during lowest water level. Okay, so the best site is on the leeward side. What is leeward side? So leeward side is nothing but it is along the direction towards which the wind is going. So the leeward side is very important, and it is of the prevailing winds with moderate flow of current, especially in place where current in overturning. Okay, so remember this. This these points should be noted that after when we select the site for the paint. Okay, so water with a stable pH, slight variation is best. So the water where we can install or we can construct the paint, that water is stable with the pH, or it may be slightly variation is also no problem. There is no problem of variation of pH. It is in slightly varied. Okay, so avoid the turbid and polluted water for the paint culture activity. If you select the turbid water, or if you select the polluted water, then there will be no means the problem is arises when the fish is inserted or when the fish is released into the water bodies. Okay, so we have to avoid this type of uh, site. Then the muddy clay and clay soil is also best for the paint culture. Okay, now the next. So I will just tell you that I will show one image. So this is one picture. Okay, this is one picture. It shows the paint culture at a village pond. So this is, you can observe the frame is constructed with the help of the bamboo. Okay, then the mesh is there, bamboo mesh, and the farmers, the fish farmers, they doing their fisheries in this culture pond. So nowadays, these activities very oftenly started in the state like Assam, in some parts of Bihar, in some part of Jharkhand. These activities seen by or these activity are used by the many fish farmers. So this is the one, we can say, the bamboo and the screen mesh. Okay, and this is the again the wall of the pond. So in this way the paint culture is operated in the any place. We can select this in a pond, or we can uh, construct this paint in a seashore also. Okay, so in this way the paint culture can be done. Okay, so before we start, means there is a one flow chart. In that particular flow chart we are able to see that the flow chart here for the paint culture activity. So first, when we think about the paint culture, we have to select site. A proper site is needed for the paint culture. Okay, and after selecting the site, we have to uh, one more important criteria is there, the clearance of weeds. We have to clear all the aquatic weeds, because what happened, because when we prepare, or when we construct the paint in water body, so at that time some difficulties arises due to the presence of aquatic weeds and other weeds is present in the water body. So after selection of the site, we have to remove the aquatic weeds. Okay, now after removal or after clearance of the weed, we have to procure the paint material. Means whatever the material we have used, we have to collect the paint material, and after collecting the paint material, we have to construct an erection of the paint at the particular site. Okay, we have to construct an erection of the paint, the site we have to select it. Okay, and then the lime application. One of the very important criteria in the paint culture is the lime application. So this is nothing but we can say the first step of the manuring. Okay, so the lime application is very important. As far as again the pH is again very important for the growth of fishes. So the lime is play a crucial role, and it maintains the pH level of the water body. Okay, so the lime application is very important, and after this lime application, then the seed stock. Means whatever the fish we have selected for the pen culture, so that seed should be uh, procured from the particular fish seed farm nearby the place, and that after the lime application we have to add the seed. We can say the release of seed in the panes. Okay, release of seed in the panes. And next point is very important, because in pain culture you have to give the artificial feeding to the young ones, or to whatever the fish we have cultured in the pain. They require food. No doubt they have the natural food in the water body, the in the form of planktons, in the form of zooplankton, phytoplankton, cladocerians, then the rotifers, copepods. Number of natural food is present in the water body. But if you want to gain more yield, if you want to gain more production, if you want to, the fishes we have cultured in the pen, their growth is more, then you have to give them artificial food. You can say the supplementary feed, and that supplementary food is also important. And it is very important because the vitamins or the whatever the antibiotics they require. Okay, so in that particular fields we can give them these requirements. Okay, so by giving them supplementary feeding, we can say that the pen culture fishes, their growth is more. Okay, and again the supplementary feed is also important because they are the advanced food, and in the form of pelleted food, in the form of floating food. So by these supplementary feeding we can say that the food is utilized or utilized by fish or not. Okay, so by giving them pelleted or by giving them fluoridated food, we can easily monitor. Then the next important criteria in this pain culture is the sampling and monitoring. Okay, no doubt we have selected site, we clear the weeds, then we procure the pen material, construct the paint, then apply the lime in the water body, then we stock the seed, and later on we give them food. But the next and very important point in this is the sampling and monitoring. We have to sample means we have to sample a fish from pond, means their growth is good or not, or any diseases there. If this noticed by you, then you have to remove the fish from the pond. Okay, and monitoring is why, because their growth is essential. At every month we have to uh, collect the fish from the pond, and you have to measure in the form of length and weight. Okay, and by measuring this length and weight, by monitoring the fish species particularly cultured in pen culture, is very important. Okay, now after all these activity, the next and the last step in this pen culture is the harvesting. So harvesting should be done at the early morning or the late evening. Okay, so and harvesting should be done at the on the basis of demand. If the demand is more, then you can harvest all the fishes. Okay, if there is no demand, so you can harvest batch in a batch. Okay, and lastly the marketing. So marketing is very also important criteria in this pen culture. So whatever the fish we have cultured, the market is very important, and by selling them we can get a very good income. Okay, so this is the flow chart. So general about the pen culture. So in India, this pen culture technology has become popular in state like I just explained you that the in West Bengal, Assam, in Bihar, in some part of Jharkhand, I have observed this activity in number of places. For example, the Palkut, Gumla. So these two places I have visited there, and I have observed this pen culture activity in village ponds. Okay, and it is not it has not yet been sufficiently procured percolated in other parts of the country. This is very drawback by this technology, because number of places we can we will we can start, but the awareness is not is there in the fish farmers about the pen culture. So same is the case with seed raising in pens for reservoirs. So this pen is also useful for some period, for example for the rearing of the seed in the reservoirs. Okay, and going by the success and rate of this adoption of this technology in Assam and West Bengal, there is ample scope in popularizing this technology to other parts of the country. So this pen culture technology is also important. And by means the three states, the Assam is there, West Bengal is there, and the Bihar. So these three states, their activities start in the pen culture activities started in this particular states, but other states are also you can say the potential for the start of this paint culture activity. Okay, so it may be kept in mind that though the paint culture can augment the fish production, the environmental, social, and economical aspect should given to the importance. Okay, so this is very important as far as the paint culture is concerned. So this is the paint culture. Now I move towards the cage culture. The we can say the very advanced semi-intensive culture system is regarded this cage culture. So it is the definition, or the we can say the cage aquaculture. It means growing of fishes in existing water resources while being enclosed in a net cage which allow free flow of water. Means it is nothing but one type of we can say the enclosure in form of circular, in the form of rectangular, in the form of oval. Okay, so it refers to the type of culturing units consisting of a framed net open at the top and floating on the surface, or when completely enclosed, the cage is kept below the water surface by adjustable buoyancy or suspending from the surface. Okay, so it is also one of the method of aquaculture has grown very rapidly during the past 20 years, and presently undergoing the rapid change in response to pressure from globalization and growing demand for aquatic products. So this cage culture technology nowadays in a marine sector, in our CMFRI, in a Cochin, in the seashore states, they use this technology in a very high manner. Okay, so the move within the aquaculture towards the development and use of intensive cage farming system was driven by a combination of factors, including the increasing competition faced by the sector for available resources, the need of the economies of scale, and the drive for increased productivity per unit area. So this technology is very important as far as the economy is concerned. So the particularly the need of for suitable sites resulted in the sector accessing and expanding into new untapped open water culture areas such as reservoirs, rivers, coastal, brackish, and marine offshore waters. So this technology we can use in a number of places in the reservoir, in rivers, in coastal brackish, and the marine offshore waters. And already the number of states, I have already told you that the number of states we are performing this cage culture technology. So this fish production in cages become highly popular among the small or limited resource farmers who are looking for alternative to traditional agricultural crops. So this can be alternative for the other resources. Okay, then the cage culture is advantageous for farmers and it offers a chance to maximum utilization of existing water resources, and therefore the farmers do not have invest on accumulating water. So see, the miracle of this technology is there is no need to we can say the investment on accumulating water, because the water is present throughout the reservoir, in rivers. Then the no doubt the main and important source of this aquaculture or mariculture is the sea water. Okay, so the cage aquaculture has certain advantages over the aquaculture systems that are potentially important in terms of uptake by the rural and landless people. So the technology is also useful for the landless people because they whatever the rivers, whatever the reservoirs present nearby them, they can use the reservoir, they can use the rivers for this cage culture. Okay, and the integrity of this cage unit means that large communal water bodies can be used effectively, and the ability to culture fish is not reliant on the ownership or leasing of land itself. Okay, so it is very again the importance of this cage culture. So hence, in theory, where access to water body can be achieved, landless people can grow fish in cages and obtain nutrition and income from the fish produced. Okay, and in addition, a common problem in traditional pond culture is that of multiple ownership. So in we know the number of in our India, number of or every district has a AFDO, that is called Assistant Fishery Development Officer, and that particular office is the given the number of reservoirs on these basis. This is the again the we can say the multiple ownership, and it is the traditional way. So in this particular heat aquaculture, we can utilize these existing water bodies for the production of fishes in a more quantity. Okay, so in cage aquaculture, the ownership issues is very simple. In that, owners of the cages are the of the fish. This cage aquaculture ownership issue is very simple. In that, owners of the cages are the owners of the fish within. Whatever the fish we have cultured in the cage, we are the owner of the particular fishes. Okay, and generally the fish in cages do not escape because it provided a top net, and provided a top net is present and the cage remain undamaged condition. It also exclude predators, and cage fish are easily managed and harvested. Why we use this technology? Why the focus is on this cage aquaculture? Because it is important technology, and by this technology, the predator is not coming in these cages, and there is no problem of any monitoring or the harvesting. Lastly, okay, so this cage culture of the culture of fish in cages can be therefore be described as a promising aquaculture technology already proven in many other Asian countries, including our India. Our India is also a very important country today in cage aquaculture. Okay, so when we same, we just explain the paint culture, how where it constructed or where the site is very important. So in this cage culture also, the site is also important for this technology. So it is the important part of cage culture. The proper site will reduce most of the problems arising during the culture period, and also reduce the cost of culture. So if you select a proper site for this cage culture, so it will be reduce the problem which will be arises after the installation of the cages. Okay, so the lake, in the reservoirs, ponds, quarries, rivers, and streams can be used as potential sites, provided that they should have adequate water with sufficient depth, so that cage can be arranged in this sediment-free water. So see here, we can select the reservoir, we can select the ponds, or we can select the rivers, streams, that in particular because it should have adequate water. Okay, if we select any pond, that pond should be adequate water. If we select any reservoir, so that reservoir have adequate water. Okay, then the cage unit should be built with a stand against prevailing wind and wave condition. So this is also the question is arises in the paint culture also. So this point should be noted, and the good water exchange is also an important factor to replenish oxygen and flush out waste. So exchange of water is very important as far as the cage aquaculture, because it if the water is exchanged continuously, then it replenishes the oxygen, or the we can say the dissolved oxygen in the water, and whatever the waste is generated in the cages, they are flushed away by this water exchange of the water. Okay, now the environmental consideration. So the when a cage fish farm is established, one has to consider the effect of the farm on the environment, and on the other hand, the effect of environment on the farm activity also. So the effect of cage fish farming on the environment. So in flowing water, especially when large structures are placed in a shallow water, the cages tend to act as a floating barrier, causing the differences in speed, direction, and it as well. Okay, so however, the most discussed question is the effect of cage fish farming on water quality. Means when we install a cage in a in a water body, so what about the water quality surrounding the cage? This is the question arises where when we install the cage in water body. So it is fact that in those water where cage fish farms are operating, the deposition of bottom sediments can occur, including the undesirable build of waste material, that is uneaten food, then the metabolic waste generated from the cage. These are also noticeable points in the while we install the cage. Okay, so this activity can be done in conformity with the requirements of the environment and taking into the account the following considerations very important: the size of the cage culture plant, and thus the volume of the production has to be adjusted to the conditions provided by the given water body. The size is important. Then the proper feeding technology should be applied with special respect. So the feed quantity means how much quantity of the feed we have to give the fish. Generally, the 5% fish body weight is required. Means the 5% fish body weight, depending upon the fish body weight, the feed is given. So the feed's quantity is very important. Then feed quality. The quality of feed is very important as far as the aquaculture, as far as the cage culture, pen culture is concerned, because the if we give a very good quality feed to them, then the result is very more, means the weight of the fish is very gaining faster, then the health of the fish is very you can say the health of the fish is also adjustable. Okay, and the feeding method means the how we feed them, means in what time with the feed we have to give them, means in the morning or in the evening, and what type of the feed, means we have to give them a pelleted feed or we have to give them a floating feed. Okay, generally artificial feed, it contains groundnut oil cake and the rice bran, but nowadays these traditionally feed plus antibiotics, vitamins, probiotics, they are all added in the artificial food, and it is given to the fishes. So the quantity of feed should be again the adjustable properly. Okay, according to water temperature and the condition of the fish. Overfeeding should be avoided in this cage culture, because if we give them a more food, the food is not utilized properly by the fish, and that the waste, the food is converted into waste, and it is pollute the surrounding area also. Okay, then the feed should be water stable and easily acceptable by the fish. Whatever the fish we have selected, this should be acceptable by the fish. Means the fishes we have selected, that fishes is accept the food which we have give them. Okay, so the first of all, dry pelleted food is recommended, and in fish culture, automatic feeders are recommended. Means the time is given the feeders, automatic feeders, and the particular time only the feeders are give the food to the fishes. Okay, and irrigation can also be applied in order to improve the environmental conditions. So the artificial aerators also very important, and artificial aerators give the, or we can say the it increases the diesel oxygen level in the water body. So the water body outside the cages can be stocked within the certain fish species or fish in order to control the growth of plankton and benthic organisms. So surrounding the cage, the number of fishes we can culture, or we can stock the fishes. By stocking them, they control the growth of the plankton or the other benthic organisms by feeding them. Okay, and the sediment accumulated under the cage can be removed by the submersible pumps. So this can be very important. Okay, then the effect of the environment on fish farming. So what we the effect is there. So among the different effect of the environment on fish farming, two major factors have to be noted, namely the damage caused by the predators and poaching. So see, this is very important. Damage caused by the predators, the predatory fishes or predatory animals surrounding in the cage, and the poaching. Poaching is very healthy. So I can say the risky problem. Okay, then the cage can be protected against birds with a top cover. A double net can be installed in order to protect the fish stock from the predators like uh, rats, otters, or turtles, etc. So again, the bird is also in problem because they just they have easily available the fishes easily available to the birds. So you have to protect the uh, fishes or the cage against the birds. Okay, then these animals can be kept away by dog, as well as if there is a walkway for the dog along the cages. Means if we have installed the number of or big cages, so walkway is also installed along with the cages. So by on the walkway we can easily monitor these problems. Okay, so the cage farm has to be protected against poachers by ensuring permanent guarding. Okay, and some electrical and anti-poaching devices can also be used as far as the in a big we can say the when we install the cages in a big manner. Okay, so it can be remember these points. So the service and operational consideration. So the shore facilities of cage fish culture plant should be well connected to the road. Where we install, when we select the fish, when we select the site for the cage, so at that time we have to remember that this place should be connected with the road. Okay, so the electric energy supply and the market as well as have to be near the site. Means if you if the DO is decreasing water, then we have to apply the artificial aerators, and for that artificial aerators we have to requirement the electric energy. So that these points should be noted when we um, select the site for the cage culture. Okay, so the fabrication of cage, how the cage is fabricated. So the it fabricated from strong, durable and non-toxic material with suitable site mesh. They have to use this strong, durable and non-toxic material for the fabrication of this cage, and the cage mesh should be allow maximum flow of water through it, and adequate flowing of oxygenated water is good for health of the fish, and it removes the waste from the cage. So the mesh is selected for the cage. So it should be noted that the maximum flow of water should be good from the mesh. Okay, because of this adequate flowing of oxygenated water, the fish health is also good, and it along with the drift of the water, it again remove the waste which we have which generated from the cages. Okay, now the netting. So the netting has three major functions: keeping the fish stock together. Whatever the fish we have stock in this cage, it stock together. Then it protect the stocks against the harmful external influences. Whatever the external influences is there in the form of predatory fish, in the form of other predatory animals, so it protects and allowing free water exchange between the inside and outside the water. These three functions is of this netting. Okay, and the most commonly used netting material is flexible nylon, since it is relatively inexpensive and it can be treated with chemical against the anti-fouling. Because no doubt these cages is they are present 24/7 means in water, so you have to remember these type of material you have to use, and this knitting material also useful for this cage fabrication. Then the netting, again the mesh size should be large possible as per the fish size. In which size of fish we have culture. For example, if you culture fingerling, then the mesh size is big. If you are culture the fry, then the mesh size is small. Okay, so depending on the size of the fish, we have to select the mesh size. The larger size and larger the mesh size, the better the oxygen supply of this stock, and falling problems are less as well. Okay, and the falling of this net should be avoided by regular cleaning or by replacing it. We have to monitor uh, these cages on a 15 days interval or a monthly interval or a weekly interval, because these materials, they are we can say the fall because of this water. So we have to regularly check by these material, and the heavy falling, it reduces the water exchange through the net wall and thus cause oxygen depletion inside the cage, and increasing this net drag requiring large and more expensive mooring increases labor requirement in cleaning and replacing the net. So if the falling is more, then it is very problematic to the cage fishes, because the dew is decreases in the particular water. Then the fluids, it should be kept all the floating devices, it netting with frame, then the feeder, walkway, etc. It is safely on the water surface, and empty barrels, plastic containers we can use in the form of fluid. These are the fluids we can use in a very large cages. For example, the empty barrels we have in our homes, the barrels, the blue color barrels, then the plastic containers we have. So we can use this type of material in the as in fluids. Okay, you can see the fluiders. Then the frame of the cage. The frame can be made by the galvanized steel, aluminum, timber, and different plastic materials, because see, this frame is very important as far as the cage culture is concerned, because whole cage culture activities depend on this frame of the cage. If the frame is not good, then in any time the cages can be destroyed. So you can just remember these frames should be mechanically strong and resistance against the corrosion and easily repairable or the replaceable. If any part is corroded or if the part is damaged, so you can replace easily. So that type of material should be used for the frame construction. Then the selection of fish species. Now all these activity we have performing, we construct the cage, we select the mesh, we select the site, then the what type of fish species should be selected for the fish culture. So the according to the ecological niches, then the availability of fish seed and economically important fishes should be selected for cage culture. So this is very important. See here, according to ecological niches means we know the water ecology. So the surface, column, and the bottom. So the fishes should feed on surface water, fishes should feed on the bottom, and fishes should on in the column. Means surface feeder, column feeder, and the bottom feeder fish should be selected in this cage culture, because all these ecological niches means all the food present in these three, you can say the surface, column, and the bottom should be utilized by the fish, means the natural food. And if it is not happen, then whatever the seed is available near to the fish sites, where the cage is installed, so you can use this fish seed. Okay, and lastly, more importantly, that these fishes should be economically means we can say their after selling the fish, the more enough exchange, you can say in the form of money, is gained by us. Okay, so this is the important selection of fish species. Now to move towards the advantages of cage culture. If we select site, we install the cage, we prepare, we construct the cage, we can say the release the fish seed into the cage, then number of advantages you can see in this your screen, number of advantages of this cage culture technology. So no doubt this rearing and raising of fishes in cages is gaining importance all over the world. Why? Because it's increasing technical, ecological, social, and economic advantages over the captured fisheries and conventional aquaculture. What is meant by captured fisheries? So we know the fishermen, what they do, they go to the sea and collect the fishes present in the sea. That is called captured fisheries. But these day by day capture fisheries is declining. The we can say the source of this particular fishes, they are declining day by day. This is the alternate for the capture fisheries. That's why the number of countries in the world now, they are turning toward the aquaculture or for the cage aquaculture. Okay, so the main type of water bodies can be used. This is again very important advantages of this cage aquaculture. Open sea you can use, brackish water you can use, estuaries used, reservoirs, lakes, rivers can be used for this cage culture. And the ownership is not required. I have just already explained you. The ownership is not required. The fish we have released in a cage, we are the owner of the fish. Okay, there is no ownership. There is no multiple ownership in this cage aquaculture. A single man can do the cage culture, and he is the only owner of the particular fish cultured by him. Okay, and it is ideal for poor and landless people. They do not have any farm for the farming, but they have the water, existing water bodies nearby them. They can use this technology and utilize the water bodies easily. Okay, and 10 to 12 times, sorry, the fast growth of the stock compared to that in that, the fast growth of the stock compared to that in ponds. The same cases, if we are cultured the IMC, if, for example, the Katla, Livium Vintani, Livium Rohita, and the Sinus Migala, in the same you can culture in pond. When we compare these stock, the growth, then it is estimated that these cage culture fishes, they are rapid growth because they have artificial feed, they have monitoring, they have a plenty of do. Okay, so it is an important you can say the advantage. Then the monitoring of feeding, sampling, observation are very simple. That monitoring, feeding, monitoring of feeding, then the sampling observation is not possible in pond culture, in sea water, in river water, but it is possible in the cage culture. So it is very important advantages. Monitoring of feeding, sampling, and observation, okay, are very simple. Now it reduces culture periods. So this culture period is reduces. If we culture these fishes in a pond, if we culture these fishes in a pond, we have cultured them for 1 year. But it is not like that. In can here it reduces the culture periods. 2 to 3 crops per year we can take in this cage aquaculture. This is also one of the important advantages, and it prevents loss of stock due to the flooding. If flood is there, there is no problem because it is in an enclosed manner. So there is no there is no need to you can say the stock is flood away. Okay, so the no need for water replacement again because these cages, they are already installed in a water. So it can be conveniently located near urban markets and harbors, avoiding the need of avoiding the need for fish preservation and transportation. So one of the important advantages, there is no need to we can say the preservation of fish or the transportation. If this cage culture is installed nearby the market, then you can fresh condition you can sell the fishes to the people. Okay, and affords easy control of fish reproduction in tilapia. Tilapia is one of the important fish. We can say the Orycromus mosambicus. This Orycromus mosambicus is a prolific breeder. It breeds twice, thrice in a year, and because of these prolific breeders, we can easily monosex culture is done by this cage culture technology. Means we can separately male culture in a cage or female culture in a male, and by this control of this fish reproduction is also advantages by this technology. Then the harvesting is simple and complete, no doubt. All fishes we can harvest it as in a single uh, in a very quick. Okay, and optimal utilization of feed is also in this case aquaculture technology, and the initial investment relatively small as far as other aquaculture is concerned. Then it is also has a social advantages in that landless people can find habitation and employment in cage aquaculture. No doubt it not gives us only as a fishes in the form of our diet, but we can also give them employment to number of peoples, okay, by giving this technology. Now, I have just explained the advantages of this cage aquaculture. No doubt, some disadvantages are also is there. So there is, we can say, the very few disadvantages. So number one is stock is vulnerable to external water quality problems. For example, algal blooms, low oxygen levels. So if we stock number of fishes in cage aquaculture and the problem happens, the algal bloom is more on the outer side of the cage mesh, or the inner side, maybe happen in inner side or outside, but because of this oxygen are decreasing, okay, and growth rates are significantly influenced by ambient water temperatures. One of the disadvantages of this cage aquaculture. Then food must be nutritionally complete and kept fish. So if we give the feed to the fish, that is the artificial food, you have to remember, you have to give them only nutritionally completed food, because what happened, the natural food is very we can say the short, because there is no space for the swimming to the fish outside of the cage. So you have to give them that nutritionally complete food. Okay. Then the you can say the LODOS, that is the low dissolved oxygen syndrome, is an ever-present problem and may require mechanical aeration. So if one means a number of fish farmers, they have the aerators, but landless or the poor people, they do not have. So this is important criteria, or they do not have the aerators. So this is the again disadvantages, and the incidence of disease can be high, and diseases may spread rapidly. No doubt, we know in a corona era now, we know the people, they are, when a single patient can come, he can we can say the he can infected number of people, thousands of or hundreds of people if he infected. So in the same way, if a single fish has a disease, for example, tail rot or the bacterial infection or the fungal infection, and if a single species can affect, if a single species is affected in the water, the single species can affected whole fishes present in the cage. So that is one disadvantages over this cage aquaculture. And this vandalism or poaching is a potential problem. This is very this is very means we can say the problematic for this cage aquaculture technology. The potential, the poaching, number of people, they come and they just take away the fishes from the cages. Okay, so this is the disadvantages of this cage aquaculture technology. Okay, so this is the experimental cage culture which I have done by myself at backwater of Shankar Sagar Reservoir Vishnupur project, this Nanded, Maharashtra. In these cages where I have cultured the 4 different species: Katla, Libio rohita, then the Caries batrachus and the Oricrumus mosambicus. So in this type of, this is the experimental cage. It is not a very big cage. You can say this is the galvanized fabricated galvanized sheet is lower to the cage, and this here is one we can say the from this place I have given the feed to the fishes. Okay, and all these 4 sites we have I have cleared, means the, we can say the maintenance is very important. So the there is the algal bloom or other problem is there, so just monitoring is very important in this cage culture system. So okay, so sir, Arvind sir.
Sir, your talk is finished.
Yeah, time ahead ka?
No sir, time is up.
Okay. I think I have to conclude all 3 points, but okay, no problem. I will discuss the next points, that is the seaweed feed fish culture and the man-made hazardous and aquaculture. In our next lecture, we will discuss. With this, I hope these 2 points, the culture methods, is in front of you, and I hope this point is in your mind as far as your examination, plus as far as your employment. If anyone from you trying to do this pen culture or cage culture, you can contact me. I will give you some information about this technology also. Okay, no doubt. With this, I stop here, and I express my gratitude towards my colleague, my friend Dr. Arvind Chavan sir, who is a IPSC coordinator in our college and the head of the department of zoology, by giving me to chance to uh, uh, deliver a lecture on culture methods in countrywide classroom programs. With this, I stop here. Sir, over to you, sir. Jolly, sir. Please conclude.
Okay. Thank you, Balkhande sir. A very brief lecture you have given on a topic, aquaculture. Sir have highlighted many points: fish farming, what is cage culture, what is how to feeding different types of methods, timing of feeding, antibiotics, then vitamin supplementation. Sir also describe about the effect of environment on the cage fish farming, problems of predators, fabrications of cage, then netting part, which type of the mesh we have to use, then regular maintenance of the cages, regular cleaning of the, then regular replacing net. After that, floating. What are the different floating materials we can use? Empty barrels, plastic containers. Then what are the frames that can be made from steel, aluminum, and these frames, they are making the corrosion free. And finally, sir, discuss about the which type of fish species we have to use for the cage culture, their advantages of cage culture and the disadvantage of the cage culture. Sir, you have given a very good lecture on this topic. I hope in future also you contribute for this countrywide classroom. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being part of this countrywide classroom.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dhoni, sir. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Arvind, sir. Arvind, sir. Okay, sir. Balkhande, sir. Okay, sir. Bye, sir.